Hi there, welcome. We are starting learning Outcome 2 with object-oriented and event-driven programming. One of the most interesting topic in programming, as a matter of fact. But let me quickly just go through what the content of LO2 is all about, and we take it from there. So, first of all, we're going to be looking at data types, the roles of constants and variables, everything that has to do with data type. We'll be looking at the types, the types of data types, and then we'll now experiment with it as well. Then we'll look at methods, which is so key, learn how to create methods, the different types of methods, access modifiers and the likes. We'll look at control structures, iterations, scope, parameter passing, classes, inheritance, and of course, events. There's a lot of stuff to be done. So let's get started. So first of all, we are going to look at data type. Data type is a data storage format that can contain a specific type of range of values. Some programming languages require the programmer to define the data type of a variable before passing its value. Other languages are automatically assigned a variable data type when the initial data is entered into the variable. A data type specifies the size and type of variable values. It is important to use the correct data type for the corresponding values at all times. This will enable us to prevent errors or to save time and memory. But it will also make your code more maintainable and readable. The most common type of data types are integer, long, float, double, bool, character, and of course strings. The next video or the next section, we will look at how we can actually practicalize this in Visual Studio. Okay, here we are in Visual Studio, an empty program. So let's start with explaining what an integer is. As mentioned previously, integer type stores whole numbers, positive or negative values, okay, without decimals. Valid types are int and long. So let's try that out. So we see int, this is an integer. Remember, when you are creating a variable basically it's like a container where you store some sort of information. So the type of information you store in the variable depends on the data type. Now, int, like I said, is one of the mostly used data type. It stores numbers, positive or negative, all right, without decimal. Okay, so I'm going to create a variable called, I will call this my number. NUMMIN. You see, it's best to name your variable using camel case. Makes more sense, or it's more readable. Camel case basically means you probably the name with a small letter, and in between you add a capital letter, right? Just to make it easy for pronunciation. Right. So now I have created a variable. I need to now save some information, but bear in mind you could just add your semicolon and that's the end of the variable created, okay? But in this case, I want to assign a value to that variable immediately while I'm just creating it, so there's no point me coming back again to assign it. So now I have created a variable called my num, and it's assigned a number 5, a whole number. So I'm just going to put this. That represents comment, so I'm going to comment this. I'm going to say this is an integer, and basically it is whole number, right? So that's what an integer. It could be negative or positive number, so long as it's an integer. So now let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next one now. And we'll start with double, double, double. Again, I'm going to call this my double number. You can see the way I'm naming it, so it will be easy for me to pronounce camel case. So my double number, I will assign it a value. So basically, double basically contain floating numbers. Floating numbers types represent numbers with a fractional part containing one or more decimal. So valid types are float and double, So, but what I have here now, it's double. So we could also have float as well. All right. So, how do I differentiate between double and float? So, what if I'm writing a double? I'll add a D to it. So now I'm gonna go 5.99D. So that's like decimal, okay? And semicolon to complete it. All right. So now let's go to the next one, which is I'm gonna just put a comment here so we can know as well. So comments, I just probably double or float. I just say float. These are floating numbers or floating number. Then the next one is char, so like character. CHR is represented as that character, right? So I could say my letter. So basically what this does that it only save one character, and that character is put in quotes, a single quote, not double quote, single quote, because it's a character. That's what differentiates it. So I'm going to say character E, right? And remember, when you're finishing any statements, you want to put a semicolon in it. So basically this represents a character. Oh, let's look at Boolean then. So Boolean is represented as BOOL. So I'm going to give it a variable called my bool, and it only takes true or false value. And you don't put it in quote, you just write it like that, true, and you add your semicolon to complete it. Okay, so these are basically Boolean. So BOOLEAN. Right. So the next one I will be looking at is strings. Let's say string. What does string do? String basically just save characters, and you put those characters in semicolon. I beg your pardon, in double quote. You put the characters in double quotes. So string, I'm going to call this one my text equal to, in double quote, I will go hello, and semicolon. Okay, so now I have integer. I need to make use of them. You could see, now that we have all these assigned to separate values, you could see that they still have some squiggly lines underneath it. This is just to indicate that they haven't been called, they haven't been used in some form. The bottom line here is just to show you how to initiate this value or how to assign values to them. Okay, so we're going to be making use of these variables in the next couple of videos. All right, so talk about the data types mainly. Then I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.